What's up, fight fans? Ah, sorry about that. Had that mad loud. What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. We have an amazing show for you here today. Lock in. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into this video. So, how you guys doing out there this morning? We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna be discussing a lot of boxers. We're gonna be bouncing around. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know what's on your mind in the boxing world. And you know, speaking of like the boxing world, right? Like you can't help but notice that there's a lot of things circulating about all topics on boxers. Whether or not they're coming back, like Dante Wilder and the Charlo twins, and whether or not they should stay retired, like Errol Spence Jr. and Dante Wilder and the Charlo twin, and whether or not they're good for the sport. And before I get right into Naoya Inoue, this is going to correlate kind of with his situation. Meaning, what do we expect from these boxers? What do you expect from why do you watch boxing? All of us watch boxing for multiple different reasons. And, you know, for whatever reason why you watch boxing, you know, uh I have to remind myself that we don't all view it the same. You can know much more than boxing or have a much more deeper passion than I do. It doesn't say that neither you or me are right or wrong. But what we have to consider are the fighters themselves and the courage and the path they choose to walk, a warrior's path. These fighters, a lot of them come from poverty, some come from boxing, legends, sons or daughters, and whatever which way they come into it, they have this unwavering desire to compete and in combat. So when we look at these boxers, sometimes we gotta like step back and appreciate the fights that they give us and the ahs and the oohs in these moments. There's a lot of criticism going around on all these boxers. It's usually, debates on who said what or, and I kind of think that in a sense, I've kind of lost my way, and I want to get back to like, talking about the purity of the sport, the science behind it all. How did he do that? How did he set that guy up and walked him into that shot? Did he see it? Did he just throw it instinctively? Like, what separates some fighters from other fighters? Is he just a hard puncher? Is he a brawler? Is he a technician? Can he fight going forward rather than just relying, sitting back on the back foot and trying to counterpunch all night? Teofimo Lopez. Can he cut off the ring? And things like that. And when we see these fights, we're like, yo, he didn't cut off the ring. He couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. And then you'll start saying, well, my guy can do this and that. And we see the beauty in the sport. There's nothing like a knockout. That shit doesn't get old. That moment where you knock him out and you realize you put him flat on his back in front of hundreds and thousands of people watching all over the world. And there's just, for me, there's nothing greater than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see a soccer player walking, you're like, bro, you kick a ball, man. I knock people out for a living. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? But no, not to knock any soccer player or anything like that, but because, but it's It's that feeling you get when you're riding a motorcycle. You ever rode a motorcycle, right? And you're behind it, you're on the road by yourself, and you can get lost in that shit, bro. You'll start driving, and all of a sudden you realize you five counties too far. You like, but you don't care because you like, now I gotta drive back. You know what I mean? And it's like that feeling, you know. Um, I have it anyway for fighting, and a lot of these men and women sometimes are scrutinized, and you know, um, I don't step back sometimes and give all the fighters their flowers. I just want to thank every man and woman that has the balls and the courage to lace up the gloves day in and day out, go in those gyms, smell those gloves that they smell like a foot. You ever smell a boxing glove? You can smell it from over here, right? That's all that hard work poured in there. Especially if you don't got a pair of your own and you got to share with everybody in the gym when you're first starting off. Oh, you're gonna want to get your own gloves, trust me. And the hand wrap smell, and just thank you for all the hard work you guys do, man. All the jogging, all the running, all the working out until you throw up, all those days you're working through an injury. Thank you for allowing me to experience these kinds of fights. And when I go out to the fights and I see them, thank you for giving me my oh wow moment and my money's worth. You know, it's just my way of appreciating the fighters that do it today. And I just want to say thank you to all of you guys, man. That from the guy at the bottom to the guy at the very top, you guys are all warriors, no matter what. And I appreciate everything you guys do for the sport, for keeping it alive, for all these fights. Shit, even the rumor fights that don't happen that keep us intrigued. It still keeps us locked in. Sometimes we're mad as fans. Um, but thank you. Truly, truly thank you. I wouldn't have this YouTube channel if it wasn't for you fighters. I wouldn't have anything to talk about if it wasn't for you guys. So I just wanted to take a moment and really appreciate all the men and women that lace it up and do it. Thank you. So guys, look, this Naoya Inoue Junto thing really popped off. Oh shit, let me get your messages up and shit. Make sure you guys is up. Okay. So, this Junto Nakatoni and Naoya Inoue thing really popped off. Where Naoya Inoue was at an award ceremony in Japan, and they were awarding Japanese fighters. Uh, Both men, I believe, at the time, Junto and Naoya, if I'm not mistaken, had both received 2 awards by that time. By that moment in the night when Naoya Inoue took the mic and called them out for 2026. And the audience, you can hear them, ooh, like you can hear the Japanese, because no one expected it. We're at an award ceremony, and all the Japanese fighters are in attendance, you know. And I think the reason why this happened, right, is sometimes athletes, or your own countrymen, as they say, can try to challenge you for your star status. And as boxers and such a fighter like Naoya Inoue, you can clearly see he doesn't like to share nothing. He doesn't like to share the weight division. He doesn't want to share the belts. He wants them all to himself. So the fact that sometimes when he's walking around in Japan and the cameras come up to his face and they're like, Junto now, Junto. It always used to be to every other fighter, right? Hey, Naoya Inoue, Naoya Inoue. And them boxing guys had to answer those questions all the time. And all of a sudden, things slightly changed. I'm not going to say that everybody in the boxing world is thinking that Junto's better. Nah, I wouldn't say that because I don't think he's better at all, right? I think Naoya Inoue is top dog in Japan, and he's still top dog today, okay? And so Naoya Inoue was like, man, I ain't sharing no spotlight. If you guys really think he's the one, check this out. Hey, you, me and you, 2026. Although that's just a verbal agreement, I don't think Junto Nakatoni right there on the stage was going to say, hell no, I'm scared of you. Nah, he wasn't going to say that. He bowed his head, smiled graciously, and said yes. And on a verbal, that doesn't mean that the fight is set, negotiated, contracts been sent out. None of that shit. Because Naoya Inoue took it upon himself to do this. This wasn't Bob Arum or hey, I don't want to mess up his promoter's name out there. None of these guys. This was an act done by Naoya Inoue. And I always said this, that the one thing that you can do to the Japanese guys that we know that you can get one up on them is shit talking. Because the Japanese guys, they don't shit talk. So if ever you wanted to throw out a story, just get in front of it. And you can expect that Naoya Inoue ain't going to take to Twitter and get Twitter fingers. He might tweet out a sentence. It's about it. And you can keep going with the shit talking, and you can get the people thinking, hey, this guy must suck or whatever because he doesn't answer back. So when Naoya Inoue did that and he got in front of it, that's why the crowd was like, ooh, I like it, right? So Naoya, that was a power move. And as for Japan's top fighter, Naoya Inoue, that was a statement. He said, you think this guy right here can beat me? Hey, that he didn't challenge Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue challenged him. And as we all know, Naoya Inoue's coach is on record saying he ain't ready for Naoya Inoue. And if they was to fight right now, he would have Naoya Inoue. They've already come out and released statements trying to back away from Naoya Inoue. Junto's team. They admit, not now, maybe one day, but just not right now. Will that fight happen? Is this another way that Naoya Inoue is telling us he's staying at 122? That he might just be maxed out. Although he hasn't hit that mark, I keep hoping for that. Maybe if you do something in life one time, you do it that much faster the second time. Naoya Inoue doesn't seem like he wants to speed anything up. He takes no chances in his preparation and, him calculating his next move. He's really honest with himself. He understands the responsibility of the fighter. If you lose, you lose. And he wants you to beat him at his best. I think Naoya Inoue's best is 118, if you ask me. If you ask me, I don't think there's no man alive that was going to beat him at 118. No. If you would have invented another 4 belts, he would have won those 2. There's nobody. He was his greatest, I think, Naoya. When it came to speed, power, his mobility, the way he moved, the best weight division for me, the best version of Naoya Inoue we will ever get is at 118. That's my opinion. I don't know where you guys view him. What weight division do you think Naoya Inoue was the better version of himself? You think 108? What do you guys think? 115? He fought, I think it was 8 times in 115, 8 or 9, and then he fought 8 or 9 and 118 too as well. So in 115, he put in some work. But I think the best version of him was at 118. He was slightly more powerful at 118. He was he was just as fast, more powerful. By that time, I think his fighting style had he had came full circle. That's my opinion. You may think that he was better in another way. I'm curious. I would like to know what weight division do you think Naoya Inoue would have been his best? I think anything up from here, it's really skill. Anything up from 122 and up, he's I would have to say that if he was successful and still winning, I would have to say that was all based off his elite fighting ability. And he was taking a lot of chances. Because at any time, any of those men got the potential to stop his train. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. I'm just banking on the fact that Naoya Inoue is so skilled, they're not going to catch up to him. And I'm standing on my square. I'm gonna say it until they beat him. And you think that there's a possibility? Okay, then fine. I'm not here to change your mind. Let's see these fights. And as far as how far can Naoya Inoue go in the sport of boxing right now? Unfortunately, man, if it was up to skill, if it was up to like, say these guys couldn't say no. Say hypothetically, let's say none of these boxing guys can say no. They had to fight Naoya Inoue. I think he can do another 3. He can get another 4 belts in a third weight division. I think he can. But will he do it? I don't think it'll be a matter of what can he do it. I think it's going to be a matter of if these guys are going to fight him. I have receipts on this 10 months ago, year ago. I talked about this very conversation, and I told you there's going to be a day where Naoya Inoue gets to where he's threatening to do a third weight division. And I told you guys, I got to go look through all my videos because I would love to get these clips and just clip them and put them up because you guys know it. Hey, anybody call me out, I got receipts, bro. I told you guys, Naoya Inoue's train's gonna come to a screeching halt. I thought it would. At some point, these guys are gonna realize what I've already realized years ago. He's him. That dude is him. And if you guys don't stop him by not giving him the fights, he's gonna beat all our legends. He's going to rip them right out of the record books and replace them with his name. We're not going to be able to catch him. And the way we're raising our American boys, shit, I already saw Keyshawn Davis the other day. He got the chain on with the glasses. I was like, damn. I was like, damn. I was like, I hope he don't stay in the party too long now. Chilling with his favorite rapper or NBA player or football, whatever he likes, whatever he into. The arrogance starts talking. And I'm like, damn. How many times I've seen this movie? I can only pray for the best. I can only be like, You don't know if he's that's gonna happen to him. I say it all the fucking time, bro. All the time. I say that about a lot of my fighters, and all of a sudden they're flipping their Ferrari, smacking their girlfriend in an elevator, getting caught on camera, doing drugs, getting arrested. And it seems like sometimes a part of me like recognizes this, and I think that at one point I was enabling the behavior. I was saying, yeah, look at this chain. Look at this dude, man. He's doing it, man. Pa pa. Don't hate on him. And now I'm like, maybe we were pushing the wrong message. You know, that kid Fernando Vargas, Emilio Vargas, Emilio El General. Um, I like him, man. You know, sometimes I see him. His brothers all got the chains and the glasses and the tattoos, and Emilio don't got none of that shit. He don't, you know, he could do without all the tattoos on the neck. You barely see him with a chain. If you see it, it's real, like, you know, something nice, you know. And I like where his mind's at. I like what he's not focused on the material things or want you to go up the ladder. He's like, oh, what do you think about Keyshawn Davis? And they already want to get the kid into like a social media back and forth. And Fernando Vargas is like, bro, what are you talking about, man? He's like, first of all, I get more from sponsor endorsements he getting in his purse. And second, isn't he the world champion? Why is he worried about me? Ain't you like up here? Like, look, you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. When our paths are meant to cross, I'll see you then. Smart answers, know where he's at in his career, knows he's not here for the back and forth and the social media clicks, views, and likes. He's here for the long haul. Like I think he wants to be a champion, you know? And you know, you see the effects of our sport, our beloved sport. You see the effects of it when his father talks. And I'm not sure if he ever like, you know, feels some type of way when his father's talking or whatever. But, you know, I have no idea. Maybe he doesn't. But I know he can acknowledge it because I know that, you know, the Vargas sons recognize what's going on with their dad, Fernando Vargas. And Fernando is like, you know, he was a great fighter, man. He was a good talent for what he accomplished at his age. You know, he was a kid in there fighting when grown ass men. You can't take nothing away from Fernando Vargas. That dude was a warrior, bro. Yo, and thank you for all the moments you ever gave me too. By the way, Fernando Vargas, like, yo, you are a true fucking legend in the game, my man. Like, and you got three good young men right there. You know, no matter how you view them, you know, or where you rate them as fighters, I could, you know, I'm just talking about my man, his accomplishments and him as a father. He must be proud of his sons, you know, you know, and one of his sons, El General, man, I really got my eye on that kid. I like, I just like his his approach to boxing. I really do. It's not like his brothers and shit. You could see that them dudes is about popping bottles and they're more focused about what's gonna go on tonight than in the gym, so to so. Junior seems like he's trying to follow, you know, General, but he looks like he has a lot of distractions in front of him. He needs to cut most of those distractions and he'll see how easy it is to be like El General. You know what I'm saying? His brother, and be his own version of his brother, but be himself. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like Naoya Inoue right now, I think that, you know, where he goes from here, it's going to be really interesting. I think that there are going to be some roadblocks, but Uncle Bob is definitely holding a lot of cards. He's got Junto too. That's all Bob Arum. That's all Bob Arum. That potential fight in the Tokyo Arena, 55,000. That's all Bob Arum, baby. He owns both fighters. So Bob Arum got a big stable right now. He's got a majority. He's got Keyshawn Davis. He's got them all. He's got the Xander Zions. He's got Bruce Carrington. And Bruce Carrington right now is rumored to want to try to fight Stephen Kubo Fulton. Stephen Kubo Fulton is rumored to fight O'Shaughnessy Foster at 130 and wants to move up. Then he'll have to fight um, Ray Valenzuela for the belt, because I guess he still has a piece of that title of Stephen Kubo Fulton's. He'll get fully upgraded, and then I would believe that Bruce Carrington would have to fight him in that sense if it goes down like that. But I don't know I don't know if Stephen Kubo Fulton chooses to defend, or O'Shaughnessy welcomes that fight and gives him a shot at his WBC world title at 130. Time will tell, I guess. So Bob Arum got a lot of fighters, bro. He's got some big moves he's about to make. And if Naoya Inoue is successful here May 4th, in which many of us believe he will be, I'm not counting out the Mexican, though. Hey, a fight's a fight, right? But I got Naoya Inoue in this fight. I got him in the fight. I think he's going to beat this guy. He should. And we're going to be on to the next. What more can Naoya Inoue do from here? How far can he go? How far would his body allow him to acclimate to new divisions against these kind of fighters, right? And I think that if he was to ever make a jump to 126, that would be it. That would be it for him. Unfortunately, he's not really tall or big, and sometimes life just doesn't give you the size you need to continue. How fighters like Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya did it, I don't know. I don't know, man. Uh, Mayweather tried so hard to get after over 5. It was just too much. He came from 130. He needed to fight in 160. 30 fucking pounds, bro. Throughout divisions, fighting world champion. That's tough. That's more than tough. When only a few men's name is on that list. It's a very short list of men that got 5 divisions in the world. It's a very shorter list with 6. So, and that Naoya Inoue wasn't able to do that, being such a special talent, that tells you how hard that shit truly is. That you have to have a lot of attributes on your side. You had to grow into your body, start young, be dominant, come out the gate polished. You would have had to had a lot of factors. Vasily Lomachenko is in the Guinness Book of World Record, I guess, or what, of fucking boxing, right? Because he's the fastest champion in boxing history, is Vasily. He won a world title in only 4 professional fights. So Vasily, and a lot of people said that was the politics of boxing, and the favoritism, and if you got the right skin color or whatever, that you can get the fights and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, no. Yeah, you can say that in some situations, but we need to break down what happened with Vasily, and what the reason why Vasily got a fight. And not in it. Listen, he didn't just get a world title shot in his 4th professional fact. In fact, if you don't know this, he got it in his 2nd. The problem is he lost the fight, and only One fight later, actually, because it was his fourth, one fight later, they gave him another world title fight and he was successful. So he's the fastest man in boxing history to win a belt in only 4 fights. So what do I mean by them saying that the corruption and everything and the complexion for the protection? Check it out, right? That's not true. The reason why it won't be true is because Vasily came into the game not with one, but 2 gold medals. We all know if you come into boxing with a gold medal, your chances at a world title fight are going to be that much faster. It's typically up to the fighter because with a gold medal, that pretty much stamps your way in. But what you got to do is at least win your first 2 fights. That's it. That's all really a gold medalist got to do. Typically, on their third, fourth, fifth fights, if they wanted to, they could have competed for a belt. Sometimes they say, well, no, we don't want to push our fighter. We'll let them fight. That'll be up to them. But I know a lot of gold medalists that came in right away and could have had good opportunity. I know gold medalists that came in and lost. Robertsi. Like their career could have, you know what I mean? But it's up to the fighter. Vasily didn't have one, he had 2. So by him getting a world title fight in his second fight, that's corruption? Or was he worthy and deserving? He didn't have one, he had 2 gold medals, bro. If anybody gets a fight at a world title fight in his second, it would be the 2-time gold medalist. That's all I'm saying. You take it for what you want. You want to say corruption, you want to say this and that. I'm like, at what point do you get credit for them fucking gold medals? Then what did you do that for? That way I can get on my second professional fight, I could be considered a polished fighter, an accomplished fighter, one of the greatest amateur boxers of like all time. That's going to get you a fucking title shot in your second professional fight. He just didn't win it, so he gets it in his fourth. Plus, what do we say here at Round One Sports Talk? What's our slogan? What's our slogan? Boxing is a business disguised as a sport. Can you guys do me a favor and hit that like button? Don't forget to hit that. Let me read y'all comments too. What's up, brother? Do you have a man crush on mine? That's all you talk about. Yo, check it out, right? Would you like me to talk about your favorite fighter instead? I'm just talking about the greatest talent we have in our era. That's it. A lot of other people and them other YouTube channels and YouTube streets, they be talking about Tank, Devin, a whole bunch of other different type of fighters and shit. Yeah, I would like to talk about that shit, but I don't see none of them talking about Naoya Inoue. I see none of them talking about him. You know, and this man is like something else, dude, right? So, like the best fighters in the game sometimes go under the radar, bro. And all of a sudden, people are thinking like fucking Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia are actually like the world's greatest fighters. They're probably one of the biggest sellers, and they have what we call in the business the it factor. Then there's these guys like Terrence Crawford and Naoya Inoue that they have a star status, but not like that. And you wonder why. You're like sitting back saying to yourself, damn, these dudes are so fucking much better. It's kind of like Teofimo Lopez watching fucking Rolly, right? Rolly sits back. We don't know Rolly for his skills. We know Rolly because of this, right? And if you really think about it, in a sport that's measured in fucking machismo like knockouts, and the way you're known in it is because of your mouth, shit, maybe that's not really a category I would like to be in as a fighter. I would like you to remember me for these in that sense. But in today's social media, you got jokes like this, right? And they don't understand greatness. They don't understand, oh, why do you talk about this guy? You might not, you might be a LeBron fan. You sound like yeah, like a LeBron fan, like a Tank Davis fan. Like those guys that claim to be the best, but they'll never surpass the greatest. Gervonta Davis couldn't hold Floyd Mayweather's jockstrap. Not in skill, not in achievement, not in the Hall of Fame, but yet Gervonta Davis is all over social media saying he's better than him. LeBron James couldn't pump up a basketball for MJ. Here you go, champ. MJ, you want me to pump up the ball for you? No, you're not worthy, LeBron. That's the truth. But these LeBron fans are entering all these stats and scoring titles. They were never in the conversation. We weren't saying battle Michael Jordan scoring titles or what he did with the ball with 3 seconds or how long he played. None of that shit was in the conversation. LeBron fans, those are LeBron fans. That's what I mean. They can't understand greatness. When I talk about Naoya Inoue, you can't understand why I talk about him. You obviously can't see the great ones. You're like the guy that wants to be led by whoever is the most popular. And if LeBron is supposedly popular, not one year he ever played in the league, he was the most feared player. Not once did he alone in any year he's ever played in, you can absolutely say, shit, he was the most feared, dominant player that year, and he won the championship. There was too many players around him every year he played that they were like, Steph Curry is nicer than him. They were like KD. And there was always someone next to him. But LeBron fans, they choose to ignore all that, all of it. When Michael was in his era, they were calling him Black Jesus. Players would bow their head. They won't even look him in the eye. They didn't want that smoke. Michael was on the court just waiting for you to make eye contact with him. Give him a reason to go off. He'd take a coach, anything. Yo, Mike, nice basket, Mike. Nice basket. I've never in the history of all the years LeBron's ever played, anybody actually say, yo, I was terrified of him. Not one time. As a matter of fact, I've never on the streets, in my entire life, I ain't never heard nobody getting jacked for their LeBrons. Never. I ain't never seen a kid walking back barefooted talk about, yo, I just got jacked for my LeBrons. That's never happened. Jordans? Thousands of times. Unfortunately. And I don't want to boost up crime. It's just a fact. If he's that good and he's fucking like the GOAT of basketball, why isn't the streets telling? Nah, that's what they're telling you. They putting up things and market value. He's what's now. They want you to buy a sneaker. But what's on the streets doesn't match. It's all just these computer dudes that are like, yeah, stats, numbers. That shit wasn't never in a conversation. The hood knows. You can walk around in them LeBrons all you want. Matter of fact, if I had Jordans and dude had to burn it to me and was like, yo, break yourself for your Jordans. I'm like, fuck, you got me. And he's like, yo, put these LeBrons on. Now I got to fight for my life. Ah! You see what I'm saying? Now you got me fighting for my life. I would have walked home barefooted rather than slide them bitches on. Fuck out of here. Yo, media's crazy, bro. Sometimes they be playing us and you don't catch it for years, just like Floyd played the boxing world. I remember there was a time I loved Floyd and I was fucking pissed at him because my dad was. My dad was like, he's always running. Tell him to stand there and fight, right? Because my dad wanted a Latin dude to beat him. And even if it was going to be a Mexican, you know, like as a Puerto Rican, like always back, we support Latin fighters. And Saul Canelo Alvarez gave me a lot of fucking moments in my living room with my family. And I will never deny that or turn my back on Mexican or Latin fighters. You know, because if you were a Latin fighters, there wasn't a lot of us. So in a sense, we stuck together. Whoever we had, baby, you know? And it was like that. So, you know, my dad was like, oh, he's running for the Mexicans, this and that, blah, 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 right? And Floyd had us all fooled, right? Because not until I got older that I realized the genius that was Floyd Mayweather. You know, he'd go up into these bars and shit, start throwing around money weeks out from the fight. And I know his competition was watching it. And there was what they were seeing was this dude just throwing money, liquor bottles, rappers, this, that, and a third. And once Floyd gave the TMC's reporters enough pictures, he slid right out the back door. Put on his sneakers, start jogging. Never smoked a blunt, never took a sip of the liquor. He understood promotion. He adapted the role as the villain, the bad guy. A lot of these guys want to adapt that persona, the villain, the bad guy, just like Devin Haney. The problem is you're a villain, a bad guy to who? Ain't nobody scared of you. You know, it's like, you know, and Floyd had a gimmick. He had the way. A lot of these guys want to copy, paste, and print Floyd Mayweather's pattern, but they're missing a lot of things that Floyd Mayweather actually did. One of the key things they're missing is the dedication and the discipline to the game of boxing. Floyd understood what it meant to stay there on top. He never wanted to lose. And his desire, Floyd was he had a few screws. Was when it came to training, he was relentless. And some people were like, damn, Floyd, like, okay, chill. Like, and I bet Floyd, like, if you were really close to him, you would have to be like maybe his girl, his brother. I don't know if his father ever would see this. But I would have liked to seen Floyd on the days that he was alone and he thought about losing it all. What was going through his mind? I would like to see Floyd Mayweather, young Floyd Mayweather, thinking, looking at his watch or looking at everything around and thinking to himself, I'm gonna go back to that Michigan apartment where my father got shot. The fear of going back there, it can drive a man. But Floyd had something for the game. He truly loved boxing. He really did. He liked whooping a dude's ass. And he liked doing the ass whooping. He didn't want to get embarrassed, but he had a way about him that was real unique. There are a lot of small things about Floyd Mayweather no one mentions. I've never heard anybody ever talk about Floyd's poker face in the ring. I've never heard anybody talk about how calm he is, how poised, how strategic, how he never gave you any reactions to your work. Every time he looked fine. Floyd wasn't that type of fighter that, you know, when the fighter gets hit hard, he smiles. And that's how we know we hurt you. Floyd wouldn't smile. One time he did like this. He gave like an acknowledgement on a shot that the guy hit him. Floyd, he had a lot. I mean, there's so many things that goes into being an elite fighter. You know, not a good fighter, not a great fighter, but an elite fighter. And there are so many qualities that these men have. And one of the other qualities I don't hear a lot of people talk about Floyd was his hearing, his ability to hear everything in the crowd. Bro, this man is in a ring where everybody's voices are canceling out everybody else's voice. And my man could hear a dude or a girl in the fourth row, Floyd. Never mind listening to your coach's instructions while he's right at the ring, yelling them out to you. Floyd, do this. Floyd, take that. Right? Most guys can't even hear their coach. Floyd is in the middle of the action, answering some person in the fourth row. No, he didn't. He didn't do that. Watch this. And I'm like, the fuck's he doing? And that's how he must have, like, when like all your senses are really clicking for you, your hyper focus. Like they say, like your sight, your hearing, and people that are born or later inherit an injury, or maybe they're not born with their sight, the ability to see. So their hearing and all their other senses go up. Somehow, some way, I think Floyd is real sensitive to that, and he knows how to like that man, he has some shit with him. He really does. And these are all the things that made him the fighter he is. I don't hear a lot of people talk about these other things. They all just, oh, he did this, he did that, or didn't do this, or he was like this when he was younger. But there was a lot that came into Floyd. When he pulled up that Philly shell, you had to have his cat-like reflexes. You had to have his twitch movements, his speed, his snap. That's why these kids can't pull that off. And I wish they would stop that bullshit Philly shell, bro. Like, everybody just relax on that shit. You guys are not going to be Floyd. Focus on fighting. All that leaning the shoulder, being lazy on your defense, taking unnecessary damage because you don't got the hip waist control like Floyd, and you don't understand placement with the feet. You're constantly leaving your feet planted and you're moving with your waist. Floyd didn't move like that. The only time he moved like that is when he had complete control of the fight. You ever notice that Floyd didn't start the fight in the Philly shell? He barely ever did that. Sometimes he did it to pretend, and he quickly went into what he really does, box. Floyd only uses the Philly shell when he has you figured out, and he's slipping your shots going on the inside and shit. And you got him against the rope, and you're Saul Canelo Alvarez, and you're too slow and too fucking stocky that Floyd fucking used it and just shined. He was way too better than you. That's when Floyd used it. It's the same perception that people have with Floyd Mayweather and his flamboyant lifestyle. If you haven't noticed this, right? The only time Floyd Mayweather has all the chains and the jewelry is when he had a fight scheduled, or when he's promoting a fight like Tank Davis, or when he's got like an exhibition or whatever. Have you ever noticed that? That if you see Floyd Mayweather in his everyday life just walking around, he usually got like a fly ass jumpsuit, some Louis Vuitton shit, or whatever high market or fucking tailor made suit he has on, or jumpsuit, and he'll have like this subtle chain, a fucking expensive ass watch, no rings, no big earring, nothing. You see him out with his little grandson, and he can wear whatever the fuck he wants. He's got like this entourage of bodyguards. That's not how he is. The only time that all that change come out in the 5, he's in the front row of a Gervonta Davis fight. That's his fighter. What made Gervonta Davis part of his success was buying a ticket and knowing you're going to see Floyd Mayweather in the front row. You're going to get a glimpse at the legend. All you got to do is buy a ticket to see this guy. And Gervonta Davis took it from there. But part of his success was Floyd and all those chains. Come out to see one of the richest boxers. And boy, can he put on a show. Right? When Floyd's that man's a genius. Got these guys to believe belts don't matter. Well said. I always say it. Well said from a guy that fought the most champions. Bro, he flipped the game. Nobody's going to beat his records. Not his guys. Because he got them all thinking, protect the O. Don't take a chance. Fuck belts. Belts don't matter. Get the bag. Floyd Mayweather's, in that sense, his records will live on forever. Because Floyd came into the game, did everything he did, then changed the game so that nobody beats his records. He's got them all fooled. He's a fucking genius, Floyd. Yep. Don't worry about belts. Don't beat my records. Just get the bag. Yo, that dude is something else. And Naoya Inoue, as far as a champion, he's beat Floyd Mayweather, but not as accomplishments. And I don't think he'll ever beat Floyd. I don't think he'll I'm not sure if Naoya Inoue gets 5 weight divisions. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna stay at 122. I don't know. I think he can do it. And I know that Naoya Inoue is not gonna fight more world champions than Floyd. That's not gonna happen. He would need what he would need. He would need 9 more champions willing to sign up to fight him. At least 9 from this moment on. He's gone to 32 now? He ain't catching Floyd. Nah, he ain't catching Floyd. I don't see 9 world champions fucking from here to there. I don't care where he fights him. He can fight a champion at 122. He can fight him at 126. He can fight the fucking. It just gotta be 9 different names. It can't be the same guy, same champion 4 times. You can't get credit like that. That's the same guy, bro. So he would need 9 separate. He's not catching Floyd. Nah. But as far as like champions in the division, how dominant you were, he beat Floyd. He beat Floyd in that. You know, title fights consecutive in a row, he beat Floyd in that. Naoya Inoue, he wiped Floyd down in that. He's got a lot of records that Floyd won't be able to touch neither. But that's what really separates him. See, it's kind of like an award ceremony, when you get like fucking best actor, best writer, but there's the highest award, like the best movie or something, right? I don't know how that goes. I'm just trying to give you like a format, right? So as in the boxing world, like the highest award, like the royal flush of awards, right, is a little argued, but unfortunately it really truly shouldn't be. We are measured as a champion for fighting champions. It's cut and dry. If you fight the more world champions in the world in your career, you're the best fighter. That's like winning the most Super Bowls. That would be like where Michael Jordan and LeBron are. Exactly there. We would have to be entering all other stats and fucking weight division and excuses to try to beat Jordan's record or Floyd's record. No. If this is what this is about, world championship fights, and you fought the most champions, there's nothing else to talk about. Until you do that, we're just doing LeBron Jordan again. No, but this guy got this and he's got this and he did that. My man, listen. Cool. You know, and then there's the champion. How dominant were you in your division? How many times did you do it throughout divisions? That's where Naoya Inoue, you see, that kind of fucking champion is really powerful. And I mean powerful. The first man to get to the 3, he's going to stand alone. See, what happened was too many men entered the ring when it was 2 belts, all four belts and 2 separate weight divisions. What happened was when 3 men entered the room, you guys are not unique. You're not rare. Although congratulations for doing it, but by each one of you doing it, Terrence Crawford's not in the room by himself. Naoya Inoue's in the room with his feet up, and Usyk has the remote control in his hand, and he's changing the TV. Yeah, Terrence, you gotta be in the room with them. But Mayweather sits in the room alone. There's a difference. You can argue their things back and forth, but my man, no. We're based off champions. Yes, Naoya Inoue, Terrence Crawford, Usyk, you guys are strong fucking champions, my man. Yes, you guys have done shit Mayweather has not done. Yes. But at the end of the day, the highest award is the one that Mayweather has. Yeah, you guys might have Vince Lombardi trophies, but you don't got the strongest one. That's how it's measured. Unfortunately, I gotta say the truth. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is what it is. You could have at it and you could say, you know, but like I said, and I'm gonna stand on it. If you go and get 3 divisions, all 4 belts, you're the only man in that room. I'll put that up against that championship run, Mayweather. Yes, I'll put that up. All you're going to have is a royal flush with hearts, and I'm going to have one in spades, motherfucker. Like what? How you want to do this? I'll put that record up against that. Yeah, but you got to be unique. You got to be by yourself. You can't have a record that you're sharing with 5 other dudes, bro. Mayweather's not sharing that record alone. He's alone. You got to see the value in that. Yeah, Terrence, that's what happened. Had Terrence been there by himself, shit, you're the only man can do that, right? That's what happens when people follow you and they prove, no, you're not the only person that can do this. I can do it too. And so forth and so forth. Boom. You see what I'm saying? So I guess really like well, there are a couple other records, right? That Naoya Inoue is gonna have. See, the thing that Naoya Inoue has that Terrence Crawford and Usyk doesn't have, he still has ongoing records that are currently active. He's a stronger champion, Naoya Inoue, right? He's the only one that's gonna challenge this fucking Mayweather run. He's the only one, I think, right? Because not only does Naoya Inoue have all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, right? But he's coming into his like 25th consecutive world title fight. And although he didn't fight all champions, all his fights throughout 4 divisions were world title fights. That kind of record, plus the fact that you did two 2 divisions, all 4 belts, plus the records that he's gonna add to that, he's he's knocking on the door to the greatest who ever did it type shit. That dude is knocking. So I'll put that up against that all them champions. Yeah. That record of consecutive title fights in a row with no breaks in between, that's powerful. Now that's a strong fucking record right there. Yeah, I'll put that up against them champions he fought. Plus, with the rest of his accolades, push over Mayweather. Push over. Hell yeah, man. Mayweather ain't never did no shit like that. Hell no. Throughout 4 divisions, like consistently fight the world champion from one. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't none of them dudes ever did it. Nah, not no shit like that. He's alone. He would be alone with that record by himself. There's no champion history to ever do that. I would have to look that shit. I ain't never met him. I gotta look that shit. I'm gonna go back further in my dates because I don't go back from like 1970. I believe there was that we have to draw a line in the sand. I can't keep fucking judging these guys that had 15-round fights, 23-round fights. And yeah, I can't keep doing that to our guys. At some point, you got to measure from somewhere in the, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I choose to, like from or the 80s, like, and I stop right there. From there up, like I judge the competition because that is just some of these guys got some of these records that are fucking bananas, like 175 fucking professional fights in 1 month type shit. Like that was just different, you know. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But as far as a fighter, from what either I can recollect or not recall, I've never seen anybody do anything like that. No fighter in the world that I've ever seen go on a run like that, like Naoya Inoue. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a big fucking that that's a strong record, man. Yeah, I'll put that up against it. And then he's still adding to it. So how far can he go? How many more fights is he gonna have world title fights in a row? You know, when he fought Stephen Kubo Fulton, Naoya Inoue didn't come into that fight the champion, but it was a world title fight because Stephen Kubo Fulton had 2 belts. See what I'm saying? So it's either he's fighting you for your belt, defending his belt, you know, whatever way. In his last 25 fights, all had to do with world title fights at the highest level. Who's doing that? Throughout 4 divisions, mind you. Meaning he never had a tune-up fight in between. He just went from the division, fought the champion right away. There's no one, yeah, that's a strong record. So, you know, Naoya Inoue, he's smart, man, and a lot of people want to disrail him. They don't want to see him go. And you know, that's my topic. Like, how far can he go? And what do you think? How far is he gonna go? Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. See, because I'm on the line that if it was up to his skills, he can do it. He can do it. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm not gonna doubt him. I'm not gonna doubt Naoya. He doesn't give me anything to doubt him for. And even the tough fights that I think is like a 50-50 fight, fuck it. At this point, let's find out. If you really think you can beat him, sign the contract. Sign the contract and whoop his ass. Listen, you stand to win so much. You beat this kind of fighter. You have him on your resume that you fought him. You can legitimately say, yo, son, sit down. Let me tell you a story. You know that month I fought him. What? Yep. Look, I fought him. Right? And if you beat him, are you kidding me? You beat that kind of champion. You were the one that beat Naoya. You stopped that train. You saved the fucking boxing record books. You, brother, you might go to the Hall of Fame just for that. He stands to give you so much. And I'm pretty sure if you beat him, can you say rematch? Right? Just the 2 fights that you make, you can retire. You can retire. Right? So I think that what the kind of fighter he made himself, Naoya, you got to respect it. You just got to respect it, man. I mean, we're talking about a bantamweight, super bantamweight fighter here, guys. That's what we're talking about. And some of us been watching him since way down, right? He's good. He's elite. He's an elite fighter. That's why I'm so intrigued of him. Every time I see him fight, I learn something from him. I'm either watching his topper half or I'm studying his feet in some fights. I'm seeing how is it that he's so deceptive and can get that body shot down there. Where is it in the sequence that he feels comfortable enough that the guy's just not going to snap off on him? Then there was the shots that I noticed that when he throws it to the body like a stabbing one, right? His front foot, when he throws it, it's on his front foot. It's like, okay, he's on his big toe. He's got the arch is lifted up slightly. He steps and his placement of his foot is on the big toe. Then what he does is he throws the stabbing shot to the body, right? And he's kind of anticipating the guy throwing the shot down to his face. Yo, his foot lifts up off the ground about that much, and his foot extends. It like slides a little, and he gets that angle and goes, pow! And he snaps the dude on the side of the head. And I'm like, nice, right? He's setting him up. Then from there, he positions himself in the right because of the reaction he knows he's going to get. When he hits him off the side of the head, the guy typically goes like this, goes back, or goes to the side. Those are the 3 movements basically that, and then with this foot, he moves it forward. Now he's cut off your way out, and he quickly feints, locks you up, and then snaps it to the body. And then I'm like, he created that whole sequence of events. He made him do all of that. And it's like he's fucking out there dancing and shit. And he's doing the moves and he's spinning the girl. And he's making her go every way he wants. It's truly like, yo, he's mad nice with it, bro. And I be looking at him and I'm like, what the fuck? When he knocked out Jason Maloney, right? He hit Jason Maloney that same fight on that night like 3 times with that same shot where he just cocked it from the shoulder, right? Now, the reason why I believe 2 reasons why he didn't knock out Jason Maloney with that shot when he hit him with it. His distance and one of them was off slightly. The other one, I think he just wanted to hit him. He was gonna, his punches are hard naturally anyway, but he just wanted to make sure that the shot was there so that he can land it with confidence, that he had slowed down Jason Maloney enough that he had took that bounce away from him. Jason was trying to get himself and motivate, and but sometimes he would try to be like in rhythm, be a rhythm fighter like in the gym when you're flowing, because Naoya Inoue was testing in his confidence in that fight. He was really like he was putting so much pressure on Jason Maloney at times in the fight that he had forgot his game plan. He was just reacting to what was coming forward. Then Jason Maloney, whenever he was like lost in the fight, you could see he would try to do what the just the moves you would learn in the gym. Hey son, do the double jab. Just throw the double jab. He didn't really understand why he was throwing it. He was just react doing something because at that point he was like lost in the fight. He was just surviving. And when he threw the double jab, he went like that. Naoya Inoue just sat him down with a nice check hook. That was the beginning of the end. And then he set up that punch that he's been setting up all night. That shot, that straight right like that. It was so beautiful that he knew he had taken down so much information from Jason Maloney that he even knew that the shot that he was faking to throw the big one, that shot was fake. Naoya, with little head movement, slipped this way to a shot that was really never coming, but it was for the one that was going to miss him. And he just went right over his shot. Boom. It was beautiful. And I was like, wow, that's kind of knockouts like you fucking daydream about in the gym. In a world title fight, I knocked the guy out this way. You daydream about shit like that. Yeah, you know? It's like kind of like what Keyshawn Davis said when he knocked out Lemos, right? And like he was like, I couldn't expect the night to go any better way, and for the result, and then for you to go out there and perform and to put that together like that, there's no better feeling than that. And Naoya Inoue is truly like, um, he's really made his way in boxing. That he has a lot of boxers, in fact, talking about him. There are a lot of he's your boxer's favorite fighter, is what Naoya Inoue is, and he's slowly becoming that globally. Uh, there's a lot of boxers in the world that really look at him and just be like they know the special talent that he is for all the things that he does. Um, we're not robots. I would love to tell you that I could teach your son that, you know, and that it all come together for him, and he knows in high pressure situations how to be calm, cool, collective, and do that. I can't say that. Fighting in any sport has, that's why we say you are truly gifted. You understand things about the sport. It'll take years for us to understand or to move, and the whens and the wheres and the hows and the nos, and um fighters like Naoya Inoue, they don't come around every so often. They're a rarity. Jordan doesn't come around but once every what, you know, Larry Bird and those kind of guys, there's a lot, but there's not a lot of them, and that's what makes them unique as fighters. And I just want to point out that, you know, don't miss, if you love boxing and everything, yeah, cool. Support your favorite fighters. But if you just want to see a great fight, an action fight, and you want to see a fighter that is going to give you that oh wow moment. Like you're going to be watching his fight, and at some point in the fight, you're going to be like, oh wow. Like, oh shit, and he's an electrifying fighter, explosive. He's very fast. He starts the fight off very, very fast. And and I'm not saying that he can't be beat, right? Any fighter can be beat. What some fighters did, like, you know, and they'll get scrutiny for it, like your Floyd Mayweathers and your Andrew Wards that retired undefeated, and your so they'll get scrutinized at the end of their career. It seems like this Japanese guy continues to fight the best even at the later part of his career, his age too. And he's still fighting and calling out like the top guys. He's going to be like all of 32 years old and he's calling out Junto. Like he's not shying away or calling out the number 15 guy or a guy that was a world champion and he's 36 years old and he's a 3 division world champion and he's been fighting for all of 14, 15 years already, and he's an older gentleman on his way out and he wants to fight him because he has a legendary name. No, Naoya Inoue is calling out the young, hungry, top talent they have. And it seems like the people don't want to recognize that. Like they don't want to, they don't, by this point in some of our favorite fighters' careers, they were already downshifting their career. Look at Saul Canelo Alvarez. He was already at that age. He was already downshifting the level of competition. These guys are like at that point, oh, it's a young man's game. I'm not going to go fight this young guy. Look what this guy is doing. And why do you think I hold him in such high regards? I'm an American fucking. I'm going to tell you right now, it's hard to impress me. It's very fucking hard. I've seen all kinds of knockouts. Shit, I have a few knockouts myself. And it's just hard. When I see a fighter, I'm like, yeah, he's great. The Andy Cruzes of the world, the Jaron Boots Ennises, the Terrence Crawfords, the Tank Davises, the Devin Haney's, the Shakur Stevensons. When I see them, now I've changed my perception because I understood that I had to stop doing this very thing in order to see them as fighters today. So I have corrected my mistake before I address it, right? But I've already seen Floyd, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Hagler, fucking Hitman Hearn, Felix Trinidad. I've already seen Roy Jones Jr., Pernell Whitaker. So when I've already experienced that, you guys I'm just looking at this like a watered down version. It's technically what I was doing. Then I had to stop that bullshit. You guys are not them and they ain't you. I need to watch what I'm watching and appreciate what I'm watching right now. And learn how to see him. Stop comparing these guys. Like I don't take Naoya Inoue and compare him to Terrence Crawford. Why? Because I will never be able to see Terrence Crawford. I'll just keep saying, Terrence, don't do this like him. You're not going to see his real qualities. You need to see the fighter for the individual fighter and understand there are different styles of fighting. They're not all supposed to look the same. They're not supposed to look like Naoya Inoue. Luis Alberto Lopez is not supposed to look like Naoya Inoue, but making no mistake, he's a good fighter, great fighter. He understands himself. Errol Spence Jr., the same. Yeah, he lost to who? One guy. But 99% of Errol Spence Jr.'s competition, he beat. But all of a sudden, he loses to one guy, he sucks. No. That style that he has, it's like, and there's a lot of guys that can't make adjustments. If you're not fighting the fight a certain way, like say you got a skilled boxer, a boxing technician, and he comes in and all of a sudden you put him in the ring with a brawler puncher, and he's not flowing, that's going to fuck him up. He's like, what the fuck is all this crazy shit, this pressure? He supposed to be jabbing? This guy's not jabbing. How am I going to counterpunch him? He just keeps coming in with these hooks. How do you adjust? The elite ones, like Naoya Inoue, Terrence Crawford, they turn right into you. They watch your style, and they do exactly what you, and they beat you at your game. How many times have I seen that from Terrence, the elite fighters like Naoya? You know, Naoya Inoue turned into the Philly shell and beat the shit out of Stevie Kubo Fulton with his own style. Terrence Crawford did that to 100 guys. He told Sean Porter, you want to fight wild and crazy? He turned it to Sean Porter and knocked him out. That's not how Terrence fights. The elite fighters, they can take what you got, use it, and beat you in it and show you they do it better. Or if they don't choose to take your style, they see where your flaws are and they exploit them. They don't need to turn into you because what they're actually saying is your style has too many holes and I'm just going to just knock you out. That's when they don't turn into him. They're just like, yeah, your style's not even worth, you know what I'm saying? The fact he turned into the Philly shell is that he's saying that there's hundreds of thousands of fighters that do this. Let me show you how I do it. See, there's just elite fighters are different. They're not like your average fighter. And I keep saying this. A good fighter will have you figured out 6, 7, 8. I got his timing. A great fighter, 5, 6, 7 rounds. I got it. An elite fighter in the moment. You do that too many times, dip your head this way, you're going to get knocked out. He doesn't need 5 rounds to read you. He doesn't need 7, 8 rounds to feel you out and get your timing. Right then and there. Slip, boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Payano in the World Series of Boxing. 70 seconds. One time. Wrong way, buddy. Boop. Good night. The Flash, Donaire. One time. Slip, up. Wrong way, buddy. Boop. On the ground. Hall of Fame fighter. He doesn't need 7, 8, 6 rounds. Why some of those wild men went the distance with Naoya Inoue? It's because they was wild and he just couldn't get that beat on them. That's what I was talking about. Some of these crazy dudes, wild fighters, not really your typical boxers, can give boxers problems because you're not doing the dance the way you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Here we are doing the waltz, and this guy is fucking he's in a pit. What do you call those? He's slam dancing, and you're waltzing. And this dude is like throwing elbows and kicks. How those white dudes? What do you call them? Rave dude? I don't know what they call it. But it's like a pit, and they be in there like smacking each other and shit. Yo, that looks crazy, right? Bro, I have a bat. Slap me if you want to, bro. I ain't, man, listen, right? You're waltzing and this dude is in there. It's mosh pitting it. He's like, right? So that can give great boxers, and Naoya Inoue had to settle in and take what the guy was giving him when he would make a mistake, capitalize on him. Keep him guessing as well. And he was changing his, he was going upstairs, downstairs, and he was also changing the cadence and the speed of his shots to throw him off. not showing him his true speed, then snapping him, and he's like, where the fuck that came from, and type shit. And he obviously punches hard. You saw where he punched Marlon Tapales in the gloves, and it looked like it just got through. And that was just a sequence of punches all night. They were weighing on Marlon Tapales. He just couldn't take no more. It didn't typically look like such a hard shot, but the accumulation of damage going throughout round by round, Marlon Tapales must have took that shot, because you saw it. He was like, boom, boom. And then he took it. It looked like he took it well. And then he like stepped back, and then Naoya Inoue came up and went, and he just went down. He couldn't take it anymore. Those shots are hard. That Yi Young Kim shot was crazy, right? Because Yi Young Kim, right? He like egged them on, right? Naoya hits him, boom, right? And Yi Young Kim is like trying to do that poker face shit, like, smile, you didn't hurt me. Come on, give me what you got. Naoya Inoue got a little impatient with him. He didn't like that in the ring, you like trying to talk shit to me. The only fighter I know for a fact that Naoya Inoue wanted to talk shit to, because he felt like he was a bully. They were trying to bully Naoya Inoue. And Naoya Inoue wanted to show in more ways than one he wasn't going to be bullied by anyone. That was in the Stephen Kubo Fulton fight. And Emmanuel Rodriguez was another bully situation where he beat up like the bully. Emmanuel wasn't being the bully, but his coach. But Stephen Kubo Fulton came in with the persona as a bully, like that. He was like saying all the time, bro, you're a little dude, calling him a little guy, saying he's not gonna on his level, saying that Naoya Inoue was a hype job, and that Stephen Kubo Fulton was trying to belittle him. Bully shit. And Naoya Inoue in the ring and on stage. Go watch that face off. They trying to like back. Naoya is just grilling him in the face. Look at that face off comparison to any other face off he's ever had. Look at in his face, his face. He just wanted to fucking headbutt him right there, bro. He was so fed up with that. He's a hype job shit. He never fought a black American, slick style. All this other, he never sparred with a brother, this, that. Naoya was like, bro, what the fuck does skin color got to do with a fight? What are you guys talking about? We're all fighters. It's whatever style you fight against. And he was so mad at that. Like, he was like, I'm not going to let this American dude come in and bully me. Like, we're supposed to, like, what, be afraid of him because he's a brother from America, from Philly? Like, I'm supposed to be scared that, like, your Philadelphia boxing history is not going to fight for you. You got to do that. And Naoya Inoue was just pissed. Yeah, you can see it. So when he hit Yi Young Kim, I said to myself, brother Yi, stop encouraging Naoya Inoue. Don't poke the bear. You know what I'm saying? You're on a water raft in the middle of the ocean surrounded by sharks. Stop poking your finger and dripping blood in the water. Like, what are you doing? He's egging Naoya Inoue on, like, come on, give me more, right? Naoya showed him. He says, Naoya's like, Naoya reaches around, pop, and smacks him off the top of the head. He goes against the ropes, starts egging him on. He slides off the ropes, and he's like surviving and shit, running from Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue slides in with a little bit of movement, snaps, pop, pop, again. And at this point, he bounces off the ropes and shit, and he's just like, come on. And Naoya Inoue said, you think this entire time I've actually punched you? I haven't punched you once. All I did, I just been giving you some love taps. You want the thunder? You want the lightning? You want a piece? You want a taste? Well, then I'm going to give you the glory. And I'm going to put you on a highlight reel, knockout. Yo, that shot sound like a fucking... Like, let me explain something to you. When I was growing up and I experienced people being knocked out and the sound of flesh smacking, when you hear that for the first time, you recognize what the expression means. I called them good. And then you experience when you punch somebody, you hit them wrong. You know you didn't catch them good. Then as you go through life, you're gonna see different kind of knockouts, and you'll hear a knockout when the flesh hits the concrete. When you hit a guy and no one breaks his fall and he hits the concrete, it's a different sound. Then you might be in a situation, if ever, you hear what an object sounds like against flesh. Have you ever seen a man hit with a bat? Like in real life, like not on YouTube. Like, have you ever, like, with anything? That doesn't have to be a bat. It could have been stick, could have been something. But what I'm trying to explain is an eerie sound of flesh smacking. Whatever it does, whether it's a car, you never forget that. That's something I don't forget. I've seen guys get knocked out on wooden floors, laminated floors. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Damn marble floor. I seen the dude get his face smack against it, against walls and stuff. So when you hear that for the first time, it's a sound. It never leaves. When I saw Naoya Inoue, Yi Young Kim, at that I was convinced. I was so blown away by the power. Like when he knocked out Luis Pantera Nari, I was impressed. That was a different experience. I was impressed with that knockout. When he knocked out Jason Maloney, I was impressed. When he knocked out Payano, I saw power. When he knocked out Yi Young Kim, I saw technique, power, and the ability to turn it on whenever you want. When he was ready to knock out Yi Young Kim, he knocked him out. One punch. It was there the whole time. He could have did that in the first round. He truly, like, and I heard that shot. It hit, like, the sound that it made. You're not going to get middleweights to make that sound. And I was like, Bob, there it is. There's that sound. That familiar, eerie flesh sound. Pop. It's not like pop. It's not like that. It's different. It's a different sound, man. When you first hear it after a while, you know, I'm not saying I'm not impressed anymore, but I can literally, like, eat my meal, feel good while a fight's going on in front of me and guy gets knocked out and I'm gonna finish my meal. Like, it's not like when I was young, I saw the guy get knocked down, and I'm like, oh shit, and then everybody starts walking away type shit. I never walked away. I was always frozen and amazed. I was always that guy that was like, and the fight could be going like right there, and I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, yeah. The fight's way down the street, and I'm walking towards the fight. That's me. I don't know what it was. Fights would break out in school all the time in the cafeteria. They fighting, going around the tables, and I'm just sitting at the chair, like, just watching it, like, and the fight's going to another room, and I'm eating my chips, following the fight. I knew Like I'm watching them fight. The fight got nothing to do with me, and I want to be like, I got next. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll take the winner. You know what I mean? Like it. I needed to mind my fucking business, bro. Like so many times. Like, oh, I was so ignorant back then, bro. I'm not gonna sit here and apologize to anything I ever did to anybody right now. I'm not going down that road. I'm just gonna chalk it to the game. We were all growing up. We were all kids. We all did stupid shit. That's it. I ain't feeling, and I'm not saying that I don't have no remorse or anything like that, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure I got beat up as a kid somewhere, a couple of times, something. I don't remember. Mm. But I probably did. Pretty sure. Anyway, I got too many wins to be thinking about a loss. Fuck that shit, right? I mean, that was my mentality. I just, if I did, I did. I didn't go undefeated my whole life. I know I lost some fights, dude. All right, you know what I mean. I you gotta have a short memory, bro. Fuck about that shit, right? Salute, baby. Frequent. Yo, that's my man, Frequent. Hey, yo, Flyer. Yo, you him, man, right? I be laughing every time I hear you on them channels and shit, man. Yo, you got good conversation and everything, man. You some of your points, right? Yo, well, I remember the time we was up on the thing. What was homeboy's name? This motherfucker called him a TV dinner or something. What was it you called them? Yo, I was crying. I was crying. Uh I'm so bad with names. I shouldn't have went down this road, right? When it comes to Edwin and names, like I'll fuck up a dude's name like this, guys. And I always mention this sometimes. I'm glad I got to that, right? Because I try to mention it at least one time to have a little bit of patience with me when it comes to like names. Sometimes you'll hear me mess up a guy's name or call one guy his name. And when I talk to them and shit, because I'm practicing what it's like to take down names now, and it's not a joke. And I'm like honest with you guys about this. This is something personal with my life that really affects my life right now. And I'm being serious for a second right here, right? Like I tell you guys all the time, I did this to myself. This is years and years, 10, 15 years. I don't know when I started it. At some point in my life, I was on a road in my life. I decided not to take down names. I didn't want to remember your name. I didn't want to remember your face. Just in case our paths crossed, it would be easy for me to do what I had to do to you. If you were in my way, I didn't have like friends, and you go to different cities or different towns and stuff, and it's usually a fake smile. I got intentions on doing something or getting somewhere where I want to get, and I'm only either using you or you're using me, or the world's trying to con me or want something out of me. So I decided at some point in my life that I already had the friends I needed. The rest were just participants in my life. That's all you guys were. Just a bunch of blank faces. I would smile with you, laugh, whatever, but it's serious, man. I was a different type of man. And um I'm a family man today. And my daughter, man, when I look in her eyes and stuff, and I learned how to be a father, and it made me want to remember her name. And this shit is deep for me, bro, because like I didn't even remember my own mom's birthday, my father's birthday, nothing. I only know one birthday in my life, and it was like my older brother's birthday. That's it. I couldn't even remember my own kids' birthdays. That's how bad it was. I didn't want to be friends or know anyone, but I associated and socialized with everyone. I can go in a room, crack a smile, and be the life of the party. I'm a bit of a talker if you haven't noticed. And I'm a cool dude. Yo, we'll kick it. You're everything. I just wouldn't remember your name. I didn't think you were important enough to me. And today, I think boxing is important. I think every one of you in the chat is important. I wish I had taught myself to know what it's like to have relationships and conversations with people, but put a name to the faces. Your opinion matters. I mean, we don't have to be the best of friends and go out and have a cookout, but I at least want to know that John said this in the chat and so said this and this boxer's name is this and the pronunciation of his name is this, that it got so bad for me that I couldn't even fucking pronounce names, man. Yo, 10 seconds, you in front of me, you just told me your name. If they would have put a gun in my head and say, repeat his name, Edwin, I'm fucking dead, bro. Yo, I'm dead. I'm like my sister's sons. We were just, this is my nephew, bro. My nephew. Tells me his name. I can't remember his name for the life of me, bro. And this is a problem, bro. This is a fucking problem. I did something to myself. I'm hoping I can change. Like I'm trying to find ways to like take somebody's name and attach it to something. My sister's name is Nikki. I'd be like, Nicki Minaj, you know what I'm saying? Just to remember her fucking name, bro. And it's sad, man. It's just like, I can identify that I did this to myself. I don't know when it started. I don't know exactly. But I knew that man before. I remember him. I remember what he was like. And that's just the fucking thing of it. That's just the truth, bro. That's just the fucking truth, man. I did this shit to myself. But I'll get better with it, man. I'm just gonna be persistent. I ain't never gonna stop, man. I gotta find a way to like make people important, like really take seriously what you're saying. Like, it's deep, bro. You guys have no fucking idea what I'm holding back right now, too. It's like people would have come up and have conversations, and in my head, he's like telling me, hey, I'm this. I work here in finances. And in my head, I'm like, shut the fuck up and get the hell out of here. Forget about it. Put them in the bathroom. Listen, in my head, I'm not even taking what you, it's like, I gotta stop, bro. And it's like I learned like a lot of fighters are like me, right? I remember there was an interview with Sean Porter, right? And Sean Porter's like in the height of his career. I think he was a champion by this time, right? And Sean Porter was like, yo, I'm gonna go spar this guy named Manny Pacquiao. And his coach was like, do you know who Manny Pacquiao is? And I'm talking about Sean Porter is an active professional fighter by this time. He's like, who the fuck is Manny Pacquiao? I don't know who Manny Pacquiao. I'm just gonna go spar some Filipino guy named Manny Pacquiao. And his coach said, Sean, I think you might want to look him up before you go spar him. And it goes to show you that a lot of these fighters, just because they're boxers, they don't know shit about the history of boxing or all the fighters. They might know about boxing because they're fighters, but they don't care about anybody else but themselves. Boxers are usually self-centered individuals. They're the best. There's no one else to need to be talked about. I don't got to find out about him. I'm me. And usually they only know the fighters that are in their division, and they only know a few of them because their potential name or they wanted to fight them. But boxers usually don't even watch boxing. There's thousands of boxers that won't go to a boxing match. They can't stand it. But they're professional boxers. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the boxing world is. And when I see myself, I be harsh on myself sometimes. I get down on myself, but quickly I realize, bro, ain't nothing wrong with you. You did what you needed to do to survive in the life you were living. That's part of the game. Just chalk that shit to it. The fact that I can recognize what it is, just because you recognize something doesn't mean you can fix it, right? But at least I know, and I be practicing it and shit. And, that's with everything in life, all of us. I'm pretty sure we all got little things we need to work on and shit. And that's one of mine. And I hope you have patience with me. And if I ever say somebody's name or wrong, you know, you don't have to be like, oh, I told you so. He don't know what he's talking about, rather than help a brother out. I built this boxing channel for educational purposes. I didn't come up here claiming to know it all. I'm a historian and I'm learning. I'm basically, you know, getting better with it every month, every week. That's what I try to do. So listen, fight fans, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for coming around here at Round One Sports Talk. Thank you for sharing the morning with me. Please leave all your comments. Anything you guys would like to talk about. We could always talk boxing, but we can talk anything. And if you would like to come on next time tonight, I'm probably going to drop the link at my late show for my night owls. I just wanted to come on and talk about some of these boxing situations and some of the greatest fighters that we have today, and also to give my appreciation to the fighters. So, fight fans, thank you for locking in, tuning in here with me here at Round One Sports Talk. Please give me a like on the videos. This helps the video go further. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Like always, fighting family. I am on to the next one. After this one, here at Round One Sports TV, you guys have been amazing. Thank you for online. The only important name is Naoya Inoue. You would say that Frontline. Frontline, you are a sucker. You're a sucker. But I like it. Damn it. Hey, Frontline. How long did it take me to pronounce his name? Huh? So it took me about a year I kept messing that man's name up. And I still messing it up to this day. So it's not really Frontline. But Frontline, thank you, my man. Hey, Frontline, show up tonight because we locking in. All right? We got a lot of boxing to talk about tonight. Lock in. Bring your questions and your intensity to the show tonight. All right? One. Peace.